Got the NOCO. We're gonna see if this NOCO is gonna start this Rod Knocky 2.2 Impreza. No idea what we're gonna find under the hood of this thing. Oh, that's fun. Looks like a squirrel is making a nest in here. That's not a fire hazard at all. Look at all that. Well, we're just gonna start it and drive it from here up to there into the shop so that we can swap the suspension. I got a couple of helpers today, and I don't know, one of them's gonna jump in while we start this thing. So let's do it, guys. There we go, I heard something. Fire in the hole. Oh, hell yeah. A little Rod Knocky, the Subaru never hurt anybody. Alright, we got the squirrel trap and Dumpy. So the plan right now is to take the suspension that's on this and swap them onto this, which is actually the stock suspension that came off of that. So yeah, it'll be a quick little swap, and then this will have the correct suspension that I actually built for this car in a previous video that you saw. And once we do that, we'll just drive this one back down and park it indefinitely once again. I don't know, starting it up, the motor wasn't as loud as I was expecting and as I remember. So either it enjoyed sitting for years, or it might not actually have rod knock. It might be something else going on. We'll have to tear into it later and figure that out. But in the meantime, let's get this one back on the road. She's so dirty right now. Well, the whole car's so dirty. There we go, in the air. Well, I may have made a critical error in my assertion that I could take these wheels off, because they have tuner style lugs, and I'm pretty sure all my tuner lug keys are back at the shop in my toolbox. I'm going to dig through the center console and see if I can find one, but I highly doubt it. So I didn't really feel like messing around, so I brought my snap-on ratchet from home, or from work. All this stuff's so corroded that if I didn't have, and these are pinch nuts, so they have, you're probably not gonna be able to see it, but they're not round, they're kind of oblong, so that they don't come off. So with these ratchets, you just give them a little push. Down she goes. out of random coincidence, I had a 19.5 inch in my toolbox. There's a lot of just kind of random tools in there. It's a shallow though, so we'll see if we have enough. Oh, we do, we're good. And if this can't take it off, it's not coming off. Like, it's pretty rare. So I was trying to get this eccentric bolt off the other side. I wasn't filming, but it started to round off because I'm not using good sockets. So I decided to use a wrench. That wasn't working. So I went and grabbed that Pittsburgh that I was talking about in the last, or I guess the first video, that I just used as a breaker bar. And I broke it. Cheap tools for the lose. The socket seems okay. I don't know why it started to round off. I think I was actually using the shallow socket on the impact, and because of it, I didn't have full engagement, and so it just started to round off the end. So I just put the impact on the other side and it came right off, but not after. Just wanted to show, if the camera will catch it, how corroded these rear bolts are. So I'm gonna hit them. I'm gonna hit them with the PB blaster before I even start to try to take them off. I'm gonna go do the other side too, and then see if we can get it apart. I'm not sure why everything got so rusted on the back end of this car. I should say I wasn't so sure why. And then I was thinking about it as I was working here and just seeing how much corrosion there is. I do believe the last time I drove this car was actually in a snowstorm in Portland, and it was the first year that they approved the use of salt on the road. So none of this had been salted, and then it all got salted. The car did spend quite a bit of years in Utah as well, and I'm assuming they probably salt roads in Utah. But it had been back here, and all of this has been off and back on the car since I got the car from Utah. So I don't know if it's just residual and having it sit, that salt that was just, you know, built into the paint and built into all the components decided to cause this corrosion. But normally we don't see this on cars in the Pacific Northwest, even ones that sit. But then, like this one, has kind of that same stuff on it. In the engine here, this same weird white powdery corrosion. And this thing got parked in the summertime when it was 119 or 118 degrees in Portland a couple years ago, is when I blew the head gasket on this. I drove it a little bit more after that. I replaced the head gaskets and then the bottom end went. So, you know, I'm assuming there's actually an underlying issue that caused the head gasket to fail to begin with, probably a bad injector or something. Anyway, yeah, it's just weird. It's weird to me how much of this corrosion is just on stuff. So I don't know where all this mineral is coming from. Now, I do have quite acidic water here. Like, the pH in my groundwater is 5.5, which is pretty acidic for groundwater. But that salt shouldn't be in the air. It shouldn't, I mean, this is from rain. So unless that salt is spraying up from the ground when water hits it, which, I mean, you see, like on the sides of stuff, you can see some of those, the up spray, like all this here. This car was clean when it was parked, and this is underneath. So, I mean, this is like water hitting the ground and then spraying up at the car. Maybe it's full of salt. Maybe that's why nothing grows here. It's because the ground is just full of salt. Kind of weird. Things to think about. Now, the rear suspension is going to be kind of a pain in the ass because the top bolts are behind the seat and the car is full of spare parts. So I got to get all this crap out of the car to get to the back seats. So we got the bumper, I'm just gonna set it on top of this other car. The bumper is pretty, I don't know, hopefully this will be, hopefully I can fix it, but I don't know if you can see, it's like twisted. See how that side's flat and the other side, you can't really see it, but it's pointed down. So I'm gonna set it out in the sun tomorrow. It's supposed to be pretty hot tomorrow, like 95 or so. So I think if I set it in the driveway in the heat, it'll hopefully kind of fix itself, because the problem is it's been in the car when it's been 100 degrees plus, and that caused it to just change shape. I just found, I didn't know I had this, I just found a clutch fork and a release bearing, which I needed for the clutch. That was on my list of parts, so that's awesome. Bonus. This, by the way, is a fun story. I don't own one of these. This is not mine. This is a Duralast, guaranteed forever, built to last. Built to steal shit, that's what this is. This is from the thieves that stole the car. When they dumped it, they were trying to take the wheels off when apparently the neighbor came out and said, "What are you doing?" and they took off. That's why I got it back with the wheels on it, which was, you know, they're stock WRX like bug-eye wheels, but this was theirs. So it's kind of a keepsake at this point. Looks like it was stolen as well. The zip ties are still on it from the packaging, so they couldn't even have been bothered to cut the zip ties off after they stole it from AutoZone, I'm guessing Duralast, but anyway, kind of sad. Some more damage from when they stole it. They put the wrong lug nuts on it. They put 1215 lug nuts back on, so they had the wheels off at some point while they were stealing it, and they put the wheels on it to roll it, and they destroyed two of the studs, broke that one. This one's damaged. This one has, the threads are kind of boogered. That one, the threads are kind of boogered. So I need to replace all of the front wheel studs, which means another thing to add to the list. This list just keeps growing instead of getting shorter. Well, once again, I stopped messing around and I had this in my car. I was trying to use home tools because everyone talks crap on Snap-on that nobody can afford it. But when you're at home and your tools break, you're just gonna wish you had a Snap-on ratchet. It's still a gear wrench socket, which is just, you know, glorified Stanley. But let's see here. Let's see if this gear wrench will get it done. Jesus, this thing is on there. Maybe I can use the shallow one on the other side and come down. I can't get my impact in there. The impact, again, because the socket is small, there's no weight to it. It's kind of struggling. And this is proper seized. Well, as you can see on the ground over there, I have every tool that I own that could possibly get that off, and none of them are working. Of course, I never get the good stuff on video. This is a Snap-on ratchet that I've had for about 13 years. She's a little bent, but that's not the problem. Missing something. So the same thing that happened to the other one. This one got further, it broke two more of those loose, but really needed a breaker bar or something longer. Unfortunately, it just wasn't up to the task. Put some torque on her! This is actually normally the breaking point on these, and so they just replaced the handle, but now we gotta get a new handle and a new drive. I have one ratchet left. It's a little chromey boy from Gear Wrench. Unfortunately, I don't have anything to use as like a handle extension, which you're not supposed to do anyway. The only handle extension I have is these hands. But there's no way, if I wasn't able to get it with that, if I wasn't able to get it with this, there's no way I'm gonna get it with that. So, I'm not even gonna try. I had a little, Blue Point impact that I picked up at a garage sale for $6. See, there's still a $6 tag on it. Blue Point is Snap-on Chinese stuff, or not Chinese, it's Snap-on off-brand. It worked pretty good. It made a lot of noise, but it didn't get the job done either. It's just a 3/8 drive, and I don't have the best air compressor either, so it didn't get the job done. My cordless one, I can't get it straight, and because I don't have an actual impact socket, it's not getting the job done. I'm kind of out of things to do for tonight, so tomorrow I'm going to probably swing by the shop and pick up some real tools, so hopefully I can do a little bit more work on that. I'm going to bring my actual 1/2-inch impact, air impact. I'm still going to be using this crappy compressor, so I don't know that it'll be better, but it'll be coupled with proper impact socket. I'll also have that proper impact socket to use on the electric, because that actually has more torque than my air, but for some reason air just kind of works better sometimes. And it's lower profile, so I can get in there. And then I have a 1/2-inch to about 24-inch ratchet that I'm going to bring, which, if all else fails, that usually doesn't. Sorry, it's not the outcome I wanted for my Saturday. This is just Saturday. We're not even on to Sunday yet, and I didn't get the suspension from the other car onto this one. I didn't even get the suspension off of this car. I didn't get the intake manifold off. I mean, I didn't spend all day on this, obviously, but this was only supposed to take a little bit of time, and I got hung up. So I was hoping to have all of this done in the same amount of time it took me to get 3 struts off of this car. Working at home, you know, it works, it's more convenient, but not having my tools, it's not working out so well. This is how much room we had before. Now we have that much room, and it's actually going to be a little bit more because we're going to fold this edge back. So not bad. We did something today. Yay! Oh. There we go. 19. In fact, we'll grab a wobbly 19. Bring this, but I'm gonna have to put a new air chuck on it. Got that switched out. And of course, needed this guy. Alright, this should be good. I think we got everything we need. Back to the car. 2 hours later. So, same impact, had this little chromey socket on it. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna give it a shot with the electric impact, but with a real impact socket on it, and see if that gets it done. And if that won't get it done, I have the 1/2-inch air socket. And for both of these, I have a proper wrench for the other side, not a little wobbly guy. And if that won't work, then I got the big boy 1/2-inch put your back into it. So let's get going. First up, half your. Let's see if we've got a socket here. Still not working on the electric because I'm having to take the bolt side off, so. Alright, so the electric, not gonna do it. Well, the socket is part of it now, that's fine. When I said this thing was stuck on there, I wasn't kidding. Alright, let's get this guy. So snap-on, big boy impact, couldn't do it. Cornwell, pretty standard air impact, couldn't do it. Now keep in mind, I don't have a 1-horse motor with a 5-gallon reservoir, so it's not the best, not gonna give us the most chooch. But at the end of the day, manpower with a big old Cornwell 1/2-inch ratchet. You know, Cornwell tools, a lot of people ask like what tools they should buy, and it's always kind of like, well, either buy really good tools or buy really cheap tools. Cornwell is kind of both. It's definitely a lot cheaper than a snap-on, and you can actually see on this, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, I have bent that a little bit. It's a little bit tweaked because, you know, I'm not a small guy, and when I need to get something off like that, if I do a stand-up motion like I just did, where basically I'm just getting my entire like legs into it, there's not a lot of things that won't yield. Sometimes it yields the bolt, and I was okay if this yielded the bolt. That would have been fine by me. We would have just still been able to pull it out if it yielded. But in this case, it came off just fine. So now we're out, and we can get the rest of it off. And yeah, you know, the Cornwell tools, that's actually, Cornwell is who makes these guys here, and they're 3-ton or 5-ton, I don't know what they are. They're big jack stands. They get the car up nice and high. I actually don't even have it as high as it'll go. That jack I was using is a Cornwell jack, and it's not as long reach as I would like because it's the higher like tonnage. It's like a 3-ton or I don't know what it is. We'll go look at it in a minute, but it's a super heavy duty jack, and it's a little overkill for what I'm doing, and it's designed for one of those column things to go on the jack tongue, which I don't have. They sell them, they're like a big puck, and it sits on the jack tongue and it lets you really get up there. But for these lowered cars, a long reach is generally better. So the long reach they make is bright green. It's like this color, and I don't like that color. It's like my least favorite color to have in my garage. In fact, I don't like this hose. And this is a Harbor Freight hose, and it leaks, as you can hear. Yeah, so we're off and ready to go get the top of this one off, get the wheels off the other car, and just rip all those off. In fact, I'll actually hook the air back up. That way I can just get this done fast with air. So yeah, I'm not going to show that whole process because we did it, we got this off, and that's what was important. All right, here they are. I know they don't look like much, but you can see at the top, it's a little rusted, but that is the adjustment on this. They are stock housings, and these are Tanabe springs. We've got a little bit of rust because I actually stripped them and painted them, but as we clean them up, you'll see they're blue. Now, if you look, There's that Coney yellow, still got the dust boot on it, and the shaft looks nice and shiny and new. So that's all good. I'm just going to give them a quick wipe down. Hey, if you look, gold. Yep, these are the same color as the intake manifold and everything else, and the wheels and all that on the car. So those are the Coneys that were on there from before that I built. They've got a bunch of miles on them because they've been on that thing over there for a while, but now they're coming back home to where they belong. Right there. Well, they're not going to win any beauty contests, but we're not entering any. So with all the bad news and delays, I have one bit of good news. Yesterday, I had thrown this bumper on top of this car, and it was all tweaked, and just the heat from today, sitting on the roof rack, you can see that corner and that corner are now pretty close to each other. In fact, I think if I just kind of rearrange that just a little bit, like that. Just let the heat in the garage and gravity kind of reshape those. Well, it just keeps coming. I was taking this one off. Big old spider. And she broke. It's because the spider was chewing on it. Did you see the size of that motherfucker? Excuse my French. Look at this guy. I think it was dead. Maybe. About to find out. Did you see that thing? Oh my goodness. Oh, buddy. Is it alive? Let's poke it with a stick. Hold on, here's a size comparison. Where'd it go? Alright, size comparison. This is an 18 millimeter. Ah! He's alive! Yeah. That's no small spider, that's 18 millimeters. I don't know what kind of spider it is, but it's a nope kind. We're gonna use the red pen today because red means done. So what did we finish? We started fabbing the radiator support, so we're just gonna put, I don't know what next there, brakes and suspension. We swapped the suspension from the wagon, that's done. We finished something on the list. That's good news. Didn't finish any of the other stuff we were trying to get to, I don't think. But hey, we got that. We found some of the clutch parts, so that's good. Beyond that, I think that's all we've got finished on it for this weekend. But it's something, I didn't have all weekend to work on it. I had other things going on. So for what time I had and having the wrong tools, we got it all going. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll get another episode up in a couple of days as I work through the week after work every day trying to get this thing done. So tomorrow night's probably editing and finding more parts. Maybe I'll do a little bit of work on it, but then should hopefully have another video. I'm going to try to post on Tuesdays and Fridays during this project, and it's probably going to be pretty consistent Tuesday and Friday posts. So just stay tuned and keep watching, and you're going to see this thing go from this totally dumpy condition that it's in back into a pretty cool, fun race car.